The Raiders, of course, well, what can you really say? Pretty banged up. So the Colts are -3 at the Raiders, over under 51.5. Indy 8-4, 7-5 against the spread. Raiders, new life, 7-5, 7-5 against the spread. Indy with a nice win. The Raiders, of course, well, what can you really say? Pretty banged up, Marcus. That's kind of the one thing that jumps out to me in this game. And I mentioned it with the Jets. Before I ask you kind of your thoughts, the Jets are playing a lot better than maybe the reputation. So all I'm going to say, and we'll talk about my pick here, is I don't necessarily think that last game, like you got to distance yourself from the Jets and tanking and everything and just say they found a way to win. It was kind of gross. But the Jets, performance-wise, maybe that's not as bad of an outcome as some would believe. Am I crazy there, or do you think that's fairly accurate?
I think when you tie it to what happened 2 weeks ago with the Raiders when they were blown out by the Falcons, it makes this game a lot more concerning from the Raiders side of things because the defense has been absolutely atrocious. They're just beat up on defense. So as a lifelong Phillip Rivers fan, I'm taking them -3 in this game.
That's a heel turn right there. I wanted to lean Indy. I'm actually going to go over Indy's defense. That Texans game looked like it was going to go out of control and hit it over, and then it kind of just got stuck in mud.
The Texans should have won that game.
They really should have won that game. They should have, but Phillip Rivers, he's not going to allow that. No, I like the over. Indy's hit 7 out of 12 overs. Vegas has hit 8 of 11. I think there's going to be points here. I think injuries play a role in that. I think both these quarterbacks are actually going to have really good days. You'll have a high scoring game there. Chiefs -7 at the Dolphins, over under 49.5. Kansas City 11-1, 6-5-1 against the spread. Miami 8-4, 9-3 against the spread. We talk about Kansas City all the time. Where are you at with the Dolphins right now? And maybe your pick will be certainly representative of that.
I love Miami, and I think Brian Flores is quickly rising up the head coaching ranks. I think this is a great matchup between coaches. Andy Reid, maybe the best offensive coach in the league. Brian Flores, with the way he coaches defense. I think this is going to be a really, really fun game, Adam. I'm staying away from the teams in this one. I am going to take the under because I think this is going to be a slugfest a little bit. And I think they've got the defensive backs to match up with Kansas City. I'm really just going to sit back and enjoy this one. This is probably the game that I'm most looking forward to on Sunday.
And I think the flow of the game, I like the Dolphins, but I think your flow of the game and the under was something I considered as well. I think it's going to be kind of ugly. I think people are overvaluing the Chiefs slightly. I say that with mild concern because Mahomes can do his thing at any time. But the Chiefs have not been a great covering team over the past 5 weeks. I think their last time they covered was like early November. They had a push in there, but I think this is a team that we're overvaluing. I could say that I think they're the best team in the NFL, and yet I think it's just a little inflated. I think this is a really beautiful meat grinder of a football game, and I'm really interested to see how Tua plays, and I'm rooting for him because if he plays well here and can at least kind of respond with Mahomes, like, that's going to change the way we perceive him as a quarterback, right? Bucs are -6.5, over under 51.5. Minnesota very easy on me here, 6-6, 6-6 against the spread. Although haven't been good against the spread lately. Tampa 7-5, 5-2 against the spread. Bucs have only covered once since October 25th. Yikes! So they're coming off a bye. Valiant comeback against the Chiefs. For some reason, Marcus, it feels like a long time since we've last seen them. I don't know why it feels longer, but here's the other thing I want to point out, and I'm back and forth on this game. Minnesota's last 4 games, they had that close win against the Bears. They lose to the Cowboys, close Panthers, close to the Jags. So that's not great, right? So what do you do with those results, and what do you do with them in a game that the Jaguars probably could have won?
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought up Minnesota's last 4 games because you look at that Panther game. They scored basically the go-ahead touchdown with no time left in that game.
Freaky game.
Yeah, and then they went to overtime against Jacksonville, and their pass defense can't stop anybody. And I think Tampa Bay, with them being a little bit of a older team, especially on offense, having this late bye week, they should be rested and refreshed. I just think this is a huge game for Tampa's offense. I think this is one of those classic Tom Brady games. 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an easy win. I just don't see how Minnesota can hang in this game, especially with Tampa Bay having such a strong run defense. I think this is gonna be a blowout.
I like the total here. Actually, I like the over for the reasons that you mentioned. Maybe Dalvin Cook will get his, right? Jefferson, maybe they'll have some moments. I think Tampa's going to have a lot of them. I think it's a great matchup for them on offense. I think this could be a really, really fun, weird, wild game. So I will go over, and you like the Bucs, right? Minus 6.5. Absolutely love this game. Steelers at Bills. Bills minus 2.5, over under 46.5. So again, another low total. Pittsburgh 11-1. First loss this week, 8-4 against the spread. Buffalo 9-3, 7-5 against the spread. I've been back and forth on this one. Does this game favor the Steelers? Obviously better, even coming off the loss.
I think Pittsburgh is going to win this one for a couple different reasons. Their offense has really struggled over the last couple weeks. They've got 14 drops in their last 2 games. I don't think that's something that's going to keep up. I think that's going to regress to the mean a little bit. Buffalo's defense isn't very good this year. I'm looking for Pittsburgh's offense to pick back up, for this to be a back and forth game, but for Mike Tomlin and Keith Butler's defense to make enough plays on the defensive side of things to get this win. So I'm taking the Steelers to cover.
I like them too. I think Connor being back is a big deal. Pittsburgh ran the ball 14 times.
Yikes.
It's like Mike Leach. Like, what are you doing? Like, I get it. You're down there. You've got to change that. I like Pittsburgh, and I like the over. I think one of my takeaways kind of in a not all that competitive game and watching Josh Allen, I think that you can get after that Buffalo defense. I think San Francisco had some moments in that game, and then they had some terrible moments, like the goal line. It was bad, right? So I think there's going to be points. So I like both. I like the total. I like the side. This is the Monday night game. Cleveland 9-3, 5-7 against the spread. Baltimore 7-5, 6-4-1 against the spread. Cleveland has won 4 in a row and 5 of 6. And I guess the obvious place to start, we talked about Baker Mayfield, like that was a show us something game, 334 yards, 4 touchdowns. Great. Marks, is it concerning at all the way Tennessee very quietly like stockpiled points, or does the rhythm of the game, like, do you just chalk that up as like, hey, the game was kind of out of reach early, they let up the gas, no big deal? Like, where do you fall on that?
I don't think Cleveland's defense is very good. So this is going to happen.
Yeah.
This is going to happen a lot of times. They can't stop anybody. For some reason, I still don't trust this Browns team. And maybe it's because they're 9-3 with a negative point differential still on the season. Whenever we've seen Baker Mayfield and the Browns play against, the Steelers or the Ravens, they look like a second-class team in the AFC North. So I'm taking Baltimore. They're healthy. They're coming off a nice win. I think they'll be able to stop the run. I think they'll be able to make enough plays on offense to score 27, 28 points. Give me Baltimore.
I like Baltimore also. 294 rushing yards for Baltimore against the Cowboys. Now, part of that is Cowboys. You know that Cowboys better than probably anyone I could probably talk to you. But Lamar, like, getting him more active, I think is important. I think he's better when he's kind of working up a ladder. Like, when you can get him doing that, I think that helped quite a bit. I think at this point I accept and embrace Cleveland as being good. And yet I just feel, I have the same feeling that you do, which is just, I have concerns, with Mayfield into a game like this. I think it's really crucial game for both of these quarterbacks. Like, this is a narrative game, right? You're gonna have major takeaways for each of these guys, but I like Baltimore. I think it's gonna be close. I think it's gonna be ugly. I probably won't touch the total. 45.5, just kind of a little bit low, but I think it's a fascinating game.